Hi, and welcome back. So, if you watched my book tour book collection video, then you know that growing up there was quite a few series that I started but never got the chance to finish for one reason or another. And I want to do a reread of a few of those to see if it's worth continuing on and trying to find the finish to that series, or if I'm just going to unhaul them instead of carrying them around anymore. And what better way to start than with one where I've read two of the three, and the third one is available on Libby. So I figured a great start would be Ali Condi's The Matched trilogy. I have Matched and Crossed, and the third one is available on my Libby. And I remember really liking this. It was about this society where I remember writing and books, I think, were banned, or something about that, but it's pretty dystopian. Back when dystopian had their heyday, which I think it's coming back around because I still love a good dystopian. Um, but I remember she gets the society like tells you who your soulmate is, and there's this girl, and she gets, instead of just one soulmate, she gets two, and it was kind of that struggle between that. The cover even says love triangle plus struggle against the powers that be equals perfect escape. Um, So it says, Cassia has always trusted the society's choices, and when her best friend appears on the matching screen, Cassia is certain he's the one, until she sees another face flash for an instant before the screen fades to black. Now she's faced with impossible choices between Xander and Kai, between the only life she's known and a path no one dares follow, between perfection and passion. Society matched them, but love set them free. In the society, officials decide who you love, where you work, when you die. And that is just a gorgeous inside cover. So I am that far through Matched. I'm up to chapter 9. I'd say a little under a third of the way through because I'm on page 92 out of 366, I believe. Um, and there's not much to say about it so far. I always forget how, early dystopians start with everyone being so ingrained in the society and no one's questioning anything until there's something that makes someone start to question something. And I always find that setup a little bit irksome because I'm always just like, this isn't right. You should be questioning things. Why are you all just going along with everything? So until we get to the point where things start moving a little bit, it's always just getting a feel for the world, not entirely too much happening other than just introducing you to the characters, the world, the setup, and all of that. Now that we're at the point where Cassia had that talk with her grandfather, and she's starting to wonder a little bit about the rules and the society and this boy that should not be matched with her, and yet inexplicably she can't stop thinking about him. So now that we're going to get more Kai in the mix, I think I'll be flying through it. But so far I've just been kind of really distracted lately. But part of that distraction is I got book mail um, from, if you watched my tier ranking video of ranking all of the books that I read last year, at the top of the list was this entire series. It's the Leveling Up series by K.F. Breene. And I got the first book, Magical Midlife Madness, in the mail the other day, signed. I had a free trial for the Kindle Unlimited last year, or it was like 3 months for 99 cents, something like that, where I had a trial for it, and I blew through the first, I want to say 9 or so of these last year in like a couple months time period when I had that trial, and this series was amazing. There's a couple more out on Kindle Unlimited that I don't have yet because I don't have KU right now. But having this in my hands makes me really want to reread this because I loved the world, I love the characters. I'll read the back. A woman starting over, a new house with an unexpected twist, a cape-wearing butler acting as the world's worst life coach. Happily Ever After wasn't supposed to come with a do-over option, but when my husband of 20 years packs up and heads for greener pastures and my son leaves for college, that's exactly what my life becomes. Do-over. This time, though, I plan to do things differently. Age is just a number after all, and at 40 I'm ready to carve my own path. Eager for a fresh start, I make a somewhat unorthodox decision and move to a tiny town in the Sierra foothills. I'll be taking care of a centuries-old house that called to me when I was a kid. It's just temporary, I tell myself. It'll just be for a while. That is, until I learn what the house really is, something I never could have imagined. Thankfully, 40 isn't too old to start an adventure, because that's exactly what I do. A very dangerous adventure that will change my life forever. I have a chance to start again, and this time, I make the rules. And there's magic, there's an insanely fun cast of characters in this. I love this ragtag group of misfits with my entire heart. This whole series is just... I laugh until I cry when I read this, especially in the next few books. But I absolutely love this, and I just read them last year, but having this in my hands makes me want to do a series-wide reread. I only have the first one in paperback. The others I would have to either buy or get a KU subscription just for that. But I mean, there's a few things that I want a subscription for that I just haven't pulled the plunge on yet. But so I'm insanely excited to have this. And even though I still think about these characters so much, I can remember the plot. It hasn't been too long since I last read this. I'm kind of itching for a reread. So it's been a little hard focusing on this, especially because this is, characters in their midlife. They're older, they're a little bit wiser in some aspects, but they've lived so much more life. They have more experiences. It's in the last couple of years I've gotten really more into reading about more mature characters. And I guess that also comes with me aging. Don't get me wrong, I still love a good YA book. I still love, characters in their 20s or 30s, but it is so refreshing having a whole cast of characters older. And just because they're older doesn't mean they're boring or their life is over or, there's just so much life and fun in this series. So that's been distracting. So it's different trying to read about teenagers again when I had that exciting package in the mix. But I think now that we're getting into the meat of things. We've got more Kai on the page. Xander just feels like a wet noodle to me right now, and I remember feeling like that as a teenager. I don't remember there actually being much of a triangle aspect, at least not in my mind. There could be, but I'm not entirely remembering it because I was never torn between the two, Xander or Kai. I think I was always a Team Kai, and I probably always will be a Team Kai because he's not ingrained into society. He questions things. So now that there's more Kai on the page, I think I'll start getting into this a lot faster. But it is just a little bit... It's a little jarring going from, reading about older characters to the end of the spectrum where you're just starting out, you're just starting to question things. So that's where my head's at. I've been a little distracted, but I'm ready to keep going. So I finished Matched and started Crossed, and by started I mean I read 2 chapters of it. But Matched, I read this when it first came out, and I haven't touched it since, but even still, I remember a few of the key points about their love story, like Kai teaching Cassia how to write cursive, always stuck with me, even years later, because I have always thought that was the sweetest thing. But there are some things in the plot that I didn't remember, so it was nice getting to those again, so it wasn't like I was just, reading something that I already knew everything happened. And overall, I really enjoyed it. I don't see much of a love triangle because I know Cassia struggles internally between Xander and Kai, between the safe and the familiar and the unknown. But to me, Xander's just there on the page. We don't see much of his personality, but that's obviously because Cassia knew him all her life. He's her best friend, and she's not curious about him like she's curious about Kai. And because Cassia focuses on Kai, that's who we get to know during the story. And I haven't changed. I'm still a Team Kai person. From what little I remember of the second book, I know that I don't trust Xander. I know that I don't like him. Well, it's not that I don't like him, I don't trust him. But this isn't a shatter me situation where I'm vehemently against Adam in favor of Warner. Like, I'm not against Xander right now. But Kai sticks with me. Kai has always stuck with me. And as Cassia falls for him, her inner thoughts get more poetic, more wondering, and less society jargon. So the second half really went by a lot quicker than the first because she's less ingrained in the society and more trying to go against it, at least internally. And I forgot about the big ending where I can't spoil it, but I forgot about the ending, but it was her family. The moment with her family was a little bittersweet for me. But yeah, I liked it, and a big change for the second one for Crossed is that it's dual POV, so it opens on a Kai chapter, and I didn't remember that it did that, but I love it. Cassia and Kai are both separated. They're alone. They're figuring things out, trying to find. Well, Cassie is trying to find Kai, and Kai's trying to survive. And I remember a little bit about the overall plot, and I think I remember a potential betrayal, or at least one that Cassia sees as a betrayal, but I don't entirely remember it, so I'm excited to rediscover that again. But I just read one chapter from Kai and one from Cassia, and I love that Cassia's no longer got the wool over her eyes about the society. She wants to fight for the right to choose. The cover for this one doesn't look as holographic as this cover, and I don't know if that was just a difference between the hardcover and the paperback, but that's what the naked cover looks like. I'm really enjoying Kai's POV so far. I think they're more interesting than Cassia's, because it kind of feels like she's following him a little bit, because she gets to where he was, but he'd already left that location 2 days ago, so she's trying to see if she can follow where he went to meet up with him, and he doesn't even know that. He thinks he's still moving forward towards her, when in reality he's kind of moving further away. But it's interesting, and I think now that there's more action happening, I will be enjoying hers more too. So the dilemma when they have book 3 but not book 2, and book 2 is what you need next, and they only have one of book 3. Do I go for it? Also, after sitting with it for a while, I actually really do enjoy Operation Bounce House, and would like to reread it one day. Also, my nails match. I've never read Dune, and that's next eventually, but the library has them, so I can get those from the library. Not quite halfway, but at least a third, at least over a third into it. I'm that far into it. Yeah, just because I stopped in the middle of the chapter, I think is a testament to just, I keep getting distracted. Usually I like to try to read to the end of a chapter before I put something away, but I'm slowly chipping away at it, but I'm in the middle of doing another video at the same time, and those books in that video are just kind of gripping me more than this. And even ones that I'm reading not for a video, that I'm just reading for fun, are gripping me more. And I don't know if it's also because those are library books, so I'm on more of a deadline with them, so I want to read them before this. Whereas I own this, there's no time limit on when I can read this other than when I want to get the video out. So that could be at play, but there's something about this that's just not gripping me as much as the first one at this stage of the book. And I don't know if that's just middle book syndrome or what, because we're in uncharted territory. This is new. We're not in the society that we've seen before in the first book. So it should be new and interesting. It should be fun, but I mean, Kai's chapters are interesting. I'm liking Kai's chapters, so I'm glad that that's added in. But Cassia, right now, it feels like she's trying to play catch up. That she's just trying to play follow the leader. She's trying to find Kai by following in what she thinks were his footsteps. And there's something about that that's not quite working for me. Even though I know that they're not in the same place, I don't think. And they're going about it differently. They have different people with them, but it's just, there's something that's not quite sitting with me with this. I have less than 100 pages to go. And unfortunately, I'm bored. It's really hard to reach for this when I just have so many more interesting books at my fingertips. I'm getting really distracted. It's hard to reach for this. It's hard to pick it up. It's easy to put down. And I have less than 100 pages to finish. Unfortunately, I think it definitely has middle book syndrome, and I feel like nothing has happened. No plot advancement. If you care about journeying and traveling and no other plot, then so far, then the majority of this will probably be for you, because this is very much a journey book, but and less action right now. But yeah, this is probably why I didn't pick up the third one. I'm finally finished with Crossed. I don't know yet if I'm going to pick up the third one from the library, because this one just left me so bored. It picked up in the last, like, maybe 5%, but that wasn't worth it. I don't know. The ending was kind of a bit of a I don't know. The ending was left pretty vague, so you don't know who she's talking about either. It could be Kai, it could be Xander, and I'm just tired of love triangle shit. It's like, pick someone and make up your mind, but don't go back and forth in between the two books. The Summer I Turned Pretty Serious pissed me off doing the same thing, because I had my endgame. She picked him in the first book, and then in the second book she reneged and went back to the brother, and in the third, it's like that back and forth again, and I hated it. I couldn't do the third one. I never even bought the third one, and I gave away the series, even though I loved it. So this one's kind of following that trajectory where it's pissing me off, and instead of a love triangle, there's a fucking love square. No. Ugh. So I don't know if or when I'll pick up the third one. But I'm done with those two, and if I do pick up the third one and it really surprises me, I don't even know if that's enough to keep these two on my shelves, because I don't think I would ever buy the third one. So I'm probably going to end up unhauling Matched and Crossed, regardless of if I read and enjoy the third one. But thank goodness for libraries, because I would not want to pay for the third one at this state.